What's poppin', y'all? Back at it again with another video. Right now, this may look intentional, but I broke down. My truck broke down again. So, best use to this breakdown time, why not get a nice scenery and shoot a video? So, y'all new to the channel, y'all tapped in with the Head of the Game podcast. Y'all read the title, let's get right into it. So this is how my life has changed. Did a 180-degree turn in 180 days. And mine might be an anomaly. I'm not saying it's an isolated one-on-one story, but I just want to share with y'all my experience and changing my life around in such a short span of time and all the growth and characteristics that I've acquired along the way. So, step number one, as I would tell anybody, before you want to add on something, sometimes you got to consider on what you need to let go. And a lot of those times, whatever that may look like, whether that be friends, family, vices, bad habits, gotta move them aside, right? Not only because it's bad for you, but you gotta make room for this new change to transpire and take place. So in my case, in order for me to get into my profession, and obviously my profession comes with trials and tribulations, that's why I'm broke down right now, but along the journey, I had to make room in order to put myself in this position, right? So, two major things I had to set aside. One, smoking weed. Two, gambling. Now, smoking weed, on why that was prohibiting me from moving into this stage is because you gotta do a drug test. You gotta beat the drug test in order to be able to not only get into the school, but also be able to be qualified to get inside of a company that's going to give you a chance as a new experienced person. Right? So, I had to put the tree down. Now, after a while, I ain't gonna sit up there and say I let it go cold turkey, but I felt like the more productive I became, the more I started realizing smoking was pretty much preventing me from moving to that next level, right? And if this wind cutting in the phone, my bad, y'all. You know, I'm just out here shooting this video. So, moving on. Number two, gambling. Managing my money, right? I had to manage my money accordingly in order to be able to afford paying for my CDL firsthand. Now I get it. There's grants. Try to go through the grant program. They got a waiting list. They want to go over the road and sign a contract. Because I wanted to come into this game with the most leverage as a free agent. No contracts, nothing. Able to dictate and determine my destiny, right? But in order for me to be able to have that opportunity, I had to manage my money right. Now, the gambling thing, this is how I set aside the gambling thing. And if y'all check up on a previous video I made, it kind of gets into the weeds of how I was able to put that gambling, action aside, right? Put that habit aside. And the deeper problem wasn't even gambling. It was just my mentality on money, like how I look at money, right? Because, all right, if I stop gambling, if I'm impulsive with my money, I was gonna find a new place to burn it. You feel me? Instead of being able to save it. So once I discovered I didn't have really a gambling problem, it was a symptom, but the root of it was I had a money management problem. Once I was able to address that, that's when I was able to put enough money aside in order for me to invest in my CDL. So after I went into trucking school, and this specific trucking school had the schedule to where I didn't have to quit my job because the availability was flexible, right? So I'm putting in the work. I'm doing what I gotta do. Eventually I graduate. I put in my 2 weeks for my job because I've already looked up the orientation, right? I looked up the orientation and they already gave me a start date. And they already provided the room, the hotel, so on and so forth. So once I was able to sit up there and seamlessly be able to work my job, save enough money, pay my bills, consolidate my debt, and also be able to quit my job, still keep my crib, and transition into this, I really didn't have to give up much in order to get into this profession, right? Like my back wasn't really against the wall. Like I could have just stayed where I was at. I had a car, I had a job, I had my own place, I was stable, you feel me? I just wasn't getting nowhere. You know? I wasn't getting nowhere. Dead end job, you feel me? Worked there for like 3 years, FedEx Ground. Great opportunity if you're trying to get some money in your pocket. I never downplay FedEx Ground, you know, because they was a part of the process of why I'm even in this position to begin with. So, y'all looking for some money, it's some hard work, but consistent pay, that's the way to go. So, moving on. So I get to my orientation. My life has officially changed at this moment, but I'm still going through the transitionary stage because, yeah, those seeds are sowed, but not enough sunlight and water and time has allowed these seeds to grow into the plants they need to be and also be able to bear the fruit that you would need. You feel me? You need time. You need incubation. You feel me? It's a process. So, understanding that, right? Understanding that, the process of, let me get my thought back. The process of, pretty much what I'm trying to say is that I was able to move out of this situation seamlessly, and it was able to put in actions, but my actions or the work, the production, or what I'm producing from my actions has not matured yet. I no longer live in my hometown like that. I visit every 2 weeks. I'm grateful for that, but it's not ideal because it's not something I want to do long term. This is just to get my foot in the door for me to acquire enough experience so I can get into where I really try to get into, right? So once that was established, and I went through training where I was getting paid like nothing. Still appreciative of the opportunity, but I'm calling it for what it is. Then I'm having the inconsistencies of my account because I have not yet integrated myself to where they can put a specific kind of workload on me until I'm battle tested. Now I've gone through breakdowns. I've drove through mountains, rain, sleet, snow, ice. Drove through the dark, drove through the light, 600, 500 miles a day, 25, 100, 3,000 miles a week. Been to more states than I got fingers on my hands. Feel me? Lots of experience. And not only the money opportunity, but the kind of mentality you have to be in order to survive this trucking industry because it has a high turnover rate. If you're able to hunker down, humble yourself, and acclimate yourself to this lifestyle, the benefits long term could be phenomenal. You can change your life. Because when you go home and you far removed from your vices, the things that was holding you back, and people used to kick it with, the places you used to go, all the distractions are set aside, and you coming back as a more disciplined individual, then when you go back, you're gonna come back a more experienced person. So this video is really just about, and that's just my backstory. My starting point was in July. You feel me? It started way before July, maybe 2 months before July. But when I finally hit the ground, I can say it's in October. Right? That's when I started to get real experience. And with most things, it's not gonna be an overnight success. You know, you're gonna take your lumps, you're gonna have to roll with the punches. But all in all, my point of this video is just saying that in order to put yourself in a position to change your life, sacrifice is required. So, no more excuses. No more distractions. No more room for speculation or putting your responsibility off on another person. Being able to take accountability and be humble. So many attributes you develop as a human being that's going to help you mature into a better person. So that way, when you acquire all these benefits, you're now in a position mentally to be able to know how to manage it and know how to obtain it and sustain it and not let it go. You feel me? You don't go through temptation. You don't go through days of weakness. You feel me? But all in all, whatever you're doing, you don't even gotta do truck driving. Whatever you're doing, just take it serious. So that's all I got for y'all, man. Thoughts, comments, leave those below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Go.